1 2 stew, 1 2 stew.
1 2 1 1 2 1.
Gordon, how are you?
I'm good, Travis. How are you?
I missed you last time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was just me and Marty, and
Oh,
it was G and M.
Oh yeah, it was just you and Marty. You know, when I walked in the door and walked in,
Yeah.
and you didn't have an XLR cable. Conveniently, didn't have the cable. Yeah.
So
I walked in on a nice, cozy little thing.
well, that was the bonus episode, so that's not even up yet. This
so-
is
so
the
I'm not-
main one.
So I'm not a bonus, no. I'm not a special treat for everybody, no.
Comment below if you think Gordon's a treat.
See, look, I'm getting all panicked and red now. You know. So it's okay. I'll just remember that for later. Any crack? No,
you will.
I was for anyone that's wondering, which is probably nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually away, and I arrived back to the bonus episode. So yeah, that was interesting. How did it go? I actually didn't get a chance to hear it. He hasn't shown it to me
We
yet.
basically just chose who would be in our content house if we were to have one, and that was it really. Yeah. So we just chose kind of like really controversial characters and just kind of made it into like basically my version of Love Island, just whatever gets the most drama, essentially.
He definitely didn't put me in there, but anyway, that's for
No, we didn't. Well, we didn't put.
See, there you go. No, I'm right once again.
He takes everything personally.
It is. I'll just go fuck myself.
So what's new? Is there anything new at all since we did this last?
I don't think is there anything. No, we've been making a bit of content that we usually do on a daily basis. There's not really much to do, I find, because obviously we're in the middle of a lockdown and you can't really actually do much within the whole 5k bar, the exercise, going shopping, going to Lidl. We like Lidl.
Are you struggling with lockdown? Because
do you know what?
It's basically in Ireland, it's the strictest lockdown you can get, and we're here probably going to be in this exact same stage for another 2 months. But it doesn't seem to impact you, does it?
No, not at all. It doesn't, because I would be both equally introverted as I am extroverted.
Yeah.
So like I'm perfectly happy in my room reading a book or sitting down watching television as I am out having a laugh. So like it doesn't, because I'm kind of the opinion, it could always be worse. That's the way I look at it. Like it could always be worse. We could be in a worse situation, and I take a lot of positives from it. No, however, it's a shit situation, and look, I understand that, but with the news that's coming out that we have the highest infection rate in the world, I understand why it's the strictest. But I am okay. But I do know there is people that aren't coping as well as I am, and I think I'm just lucky for that. Everyone is different. Everybody takes this individually. What about you? How are you finding it?
I'm struggling.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah,
I'm definitely struggling.
Well, you have taught. When I say I've thought that, I know you are. We've had several conversations about that. Would you like to share with the listeners why?
Yeah, I guess I'm fatigued. I've definitely fatigued from lockdown.
Yeah.
We got a taste of reality at Christmas, and I don't regret having the taste of reality at all, but just getting into that mind frame again and then having it taken away from you really sucked. Now I could be even more fatigued if we didn't have that break.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad we did it, and I know we're suffering for it now,
Yeah.
but I am still glad we did it. But
you and I differ on that subject.
Well, even during Christmas when things eased, you didn't really want to go out that much still. So I can see how it doesn't bother you a lot.
Yeah.
For me though, I just you seen me, I was out eating every night.
You're a social butterfly.
I was.
You want to emerge from your chrysalis and fly off. Yeah, no,
right.
My mindset, I think, was when we were able to go, because the guidelines were restricted, I did go once or twice. I adhere to guidelines like you did as well. But I think we're all reaping what we sowed now because of that. Because if you look at Christmas, I was in town, I had to do a bit of shopping, and people were acting as if there was nothing happening in the country, which, I'm not saying it's you, I'm not saying it's I, but just in general, I think people got the taste of reality and was like, sure, look, we'll go all out for Christmas and we'll worry about it after, which I think was the case, which is where we are now. It is much harder for people, I think, to go from the situation we found ourselves in where we had a little bit of freedom back to this. I think that's very hard. I think if it had been true Christmas, we were like, lads, look, just scrap Christmas and we'll drive on with it, I think we'd be in a better position. Now, I know what you're saying, that you would be fatigued, but I reckon that people, not you, but just in general, people wouldn't long for that, taste of freedom, because I know it's an old saying, but you don't miss what you don't have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but again, like, I'm not going to say that they're doing everything right. I'm not going to say everyone's right. I think it's an ever-evolving situation. It's an ever-changing situation. There has been mistakes. After this finishes, there's going to be a lot of inquiries. There's going to be a lot of public inquiries. That
You think so?
Yeah. I do.
Really?
I do think so. Yeah, like, just things that have happened, the way things have been dealt with. Like, there's just far too much going on in the country at the moment for investigations to be done. Everything is being rushed. So I do think, like, 10, 15 years down the time, even if you look at the pandemic unemployment payment and stuff like that, there's stories I know of where people are getting it and they shouldn't be and stuff like that, and there's just a lot to come, I'd say, but they're focused on one thing at the moment. But when it subsides, I think there's going to be a lot to come out of this. Like,
when do you think it's gonna?
Like, I want to be optimistic. I know you don't want me to be optimistic.
Well,
like, if we can get the numbers under control and the vaccine rollout is quicker, I do think, like, we're looking at the end of the summer.
End of the summer.
Yeah, I do think.
Are they going to try and save summer?
I'm not going to say they're going to try and save summer, because, like, let's try and save Christmas, and we saw what happened there.
Yeah, well, they kind of did save Christmas in a way.
Yeah,
didn't we?
well, yeah, they saved Christmas, but, like, we're back in the same situation. I do think it's a fluid situation.
Yeah,
it's ever evolving, it's ever changing, and, like, you and I have had this discussion. I think you actually can't plan anything because of that, because it's ever changing. Like, even with the UK strain that's out at the moment now, that just came out of nowhere. But even I know at home in Cork, like, it's gone mad down there. Like, someone came home from England and infected 150 people. Like,
are the flights are banned from England, though, aren't they?
Came home just before it.
Yeah.
So it's here since December. It's here since early December.
Right.
Like, so I do think that. But go on.
No, that's it. Really, we're just in for more.
Are you coping better now?
It changes, and for me, it's always been very subtle. Like, it's never been like, bam, you're struggling and really upset. It's kind of like creeps on you, and it, like, lingers over you, and you just kind of then, like, start to feel different things, like cabin fever, or just, when you take away socialization altogether. How
would you deal with that then? Because I assume there's a lot of people out there that are not listening to this, but there is a lot of people out there, I would think, that would have the same feelings as you. And I think it's great that you're coming here on this platform and opening up that you are struggling with lockdown, because a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah. Well,
so how do you deal with that on a daily basis?
I think it's really, really important for everyone to stop shaming each other. And that's huge at the minute. Everyone, looking to call people out, and this person's traveling, or this person's, where's your mask, and all that shit. I think that's just kind of causing more tension for everyone, and it's also not allowing people to kind of be not okay. Yeah. And it's this, like, thing that everyone should just shut up and go along with it, even though never in their life have they went through anything like this. And different people have different capacities and emotional states and situations and circumstances. So there really needs to be less shaming. Like, general.
You and I live together, and we have two different opinions and how we process the whole thing. Like, so I think that's a broad thing across the whole country. In relation to the shaming, see, I don't agree with it. You can shame everyone till the cows come home, but it's not going to make a difference. But I think that by some people shaming other people for that behaviour, I think it's due to cabin fever, and they're saying, "Oh, well, look, it's all your fault that we're in this situation." I do think.
Yeah, it's a blame game, though.
Yeah, I do think there's a certain amount to that, and it's not helpful. Even everyone has it. Like, anyone that's in NEFIT or anyone that's in government has come out and said that that's not doing any good. However, I think some people, that's the way they process it. They obviously should find some other way to process it.
Well, that's what I mean, and I think they're just assuming it's the right way, because it's relative to everyone. So you might have, an aunt that got COVID and died, and you might suffer more personally from it. But, there are people that just are completely healthy and haven't experienced any form of, suffering from that. And they're not going to have that same mindset, and you can't just expect them to when they don't.
So we're going to ask the real question here now. Travis Leon.
Oh, shit.
Are you going to take the vaccine?
Yes, 100%.
Good man. Yeah.
I'll shove it into my ass, whatever it takes.
I also will do the same.
Doesn't go up the ass, but
well, he's just ladies.
That's how enthusiastic I am.
Lady, that's how enthusiastic this man is, because you've seen what he does when I touch him. Oh yeah.
Are you going to take it?
Of course.
100%,
Yeah.
When do you think we'll get it?
Like I've been talking to 2 or 3 people who are essential workers, and they're after getting it. And there's 1 or 2 other people that are the elderly age bracket, they've gotten it. So I think we're looking down the end of the year, I'd say maybe.
End of the year?
You and I. But I think, once they've vaccinated the most vulnerable and people that are...
I was thinking more like summer.
Yeah, the end of the summer, like.
Right.
End of the year, kind of. And coming into autumn, I think we'll get it. I've
seen they've come in little like packs.
Yeah.
They're like little gift packs with little certificates and everything.
Oh yeah, you've so yeah, it's all over my story at the moment. Like, so you look at we look at it and it's got the name and it's got the batch number and it's got a signature and everyone is throwing it up.
Yeah,
it's on everyone's store. And I'm kind of sitting here, I'm like, so when am I going to get mine so I can post it?
Yeah, it's a new thing. It's like, my vaccine just arrived.
Yeah, but that's a pure 2020 thing.
Yeah,
well, it's a pure social media thing. Like, I'm kind of envious, really, to be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we might have plans to not be in the country for some of it, but it's hard to imagine just waiting until the end of summer like this.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I'm taking it every day as it comes, obviously.
Yeah. See, I don't think it'll come to that. I don't think it's a long-term thing. Like, if the ICU numbers come down, I think we can get to a stage where we're not all locked up within a level 5 situation.
Yeah.
But again, that is down to people's behaviour. Like,
everyone staying at home.
Yeah. It's no crack. It is crack, but it's no crack. But like, it's for a greater good. Like, I know there's people will say, oh, this is tyrannical and so on and so forth. This is my opinion. Everyone's entitled theirs, but like, I can't see any other way. And I know people have said, like, this country does it this way and that country does it that way. It's just, I do think it all boils down to everyone's feeling their way around in the dark. Nobody knows how to actually deal with it.
Well, remember, Portugal is in a good state right now.
Just because a guy on a TikTok live said Portugal is in a good state, I'm not even getting into that.
We have this guy that comments on all our live streams, and he's like the ambassador for Portugal, and he keeps saying, like, lads, check out Portugal. All the bars are open and stuff. Like, why is no one going there? And every time he comes onto the stream, he's like, Portugal. And I entertain him, but Gordon just
I'm just not for that. Like,
because he's tagging us in videos and stuff.
See, I'm not for that because, like, all it takes is one spark to light a fire.
Yeah.
So you have one guy talking about Portugal, how it's all open up. Oh, we'll all drive on to Portugal and we're back in the same situation.
But that's Irish bandwagon behaviour. It's something we would do as well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to move it on quickly to our main topic.
We are here this evening. We're getting an education from Mr. Travis Leon.
Well,
something that I've been interested in. It's caught my eye as I've been watching YouTube and other forms of media.
I was about to say I'm not an expert in this. I'm really not.
He's very humble,
and I'm not qualified to. Pardon me. I'm not qualified to give any financial advice, and I'm definitely.
I love how this is the disclaimer.
Yeah, well, I have to leave it. I'm very heavily invested in Bitcoin. But I'm definitely not an expert on the technology or investing or trading. Yeah. So, do you know what a Bitcoin is?
Tell me what it is. I'm aware, my knowledge stems to that it's digital currency.
Yeah. Essentially, it's cryptography.
Right, yeah.
Digital currency. It's decentralized, which means
for everyone
no one in the world owns it.
For everyone listening, cryptography is...
Cryptography, I don't know the actual definition for cryptography. Do you?
I don't know the exact, but cryptography is basically using numbers to encrypt a message.
It's code. It's essentially code.
Yeah, it's information. So, like, it's what you have on your WhatsApp. When I send a WhatsApp to Travis, that is encrypted. Basically, there's numbers used to value the letters, and people can't decrypt it unless they're on the other side, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, Bitcoin's been about since 2010, and there's a lot of hype around it now, because it's rallying up in price and value, and this has happened several times. It happened last time in 2017, because it soared up to 21,000, and I can't remember where it soared from in a short period, but I'm going to say it was below 10,000. So when people start seeing this magical internet money that is going up in value, can make them money, everyone kind of does a thing called FOMO, fear of missing out, and they pile on, and they drive the price up. And what we call retail investors, there are people that just kind of buy it to make a quick buck. They tend to start piling their money on it, and then what happens when the price dips a wee bit, when people start selling off top, the retail investors, which are the short-term investors, start panicking, and they start selling at a loss, and then this causes the price to crash down again. So this happened in 2017, and it's rallied up to an all-time high again. It reached 42,000 per coin, which is crazy, because I bought Bitcoin when it was worth €5,000. So I've known about Bitcoin for a long time.
Man knows it.
Well, see when I was in school, right?
Yeah.
One of my mates came up to me and he said, he was just talking about Bitcoin, and he said, if you sign up to this website, they supply you with a free wallet. And so a wallet is basically what holds your Bitcoin, and you can have a hot or a cold wallet. Your hot wallet is online. Your cold wallet is offline. So you basically, when you signed up to, let's for argument's sake call it cryptobug.com. When you signed up to cryptobug.com, they gave you a wallet, and then what they did was, just for being signed up with them, every single day they would give you loads of coins, like very small amounts, like 0.00001. Yeah. And there was a list of them. There was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, loads more. There was about 50 of them. So basically, Bitcoins and altcoins. Altcoins are just cryptocurrencies that aren't Bitcoin. They're owned by actual companies. Bitcoin was made by one person anonymously. So Bitcoin is made...
What's his name again? Sashin Nakamoto, isn't it?
Yeah. Nakamoto. I forget his name. No, Satoshi Nakamoto.
That's it, Satoshi,
So, yeah, I'm probably explaining this in a backwards way, but I'll just explain how I got into it. So he told me about this website. I signed up. I gave my email, and surely enough, every day your balance is going up, but it's going up really slowly, right? And
he said, "Oh, a few extra pounds in the pocket."
Well, this was a long time ago. Was so. A few years later, then I just forgot about it, because
these were the times when Fredo was 10p.
Yeah, back in the day. But I just completely forgot about it, and I went on with life, and I started going to college and all that stuff. But I used to work in this hotel, and I just had this mate in this hotel. He's from Lithuania. Left the job, never saw him again, and then I ran into him in the gym. And
the gym, bro.
Yeah, he's a gym lad,
Give us a little flex there.
Shout out to Eddie. That's his name.
Hello, lady. Hello, ladies.
Not even working out.
But Eddie, lockdown.
Eddie, we just gave each other the whole, like, what are you up to thing. And I think it was before I worked in Facebook. But I went back to do my degree anyways. And he said, I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm trading now. And he was kind of like pulling expensive things out of his pocket, like, expensive phones. And
he's like the guy that slides into your DMs. Would you like to change your life? I've got a trade for you.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Man. And then...
Do you want to maximize your income and work from home with many beautiful women and a boat?
Well, I was curious. So I was kind of like, well... He was just telling me about it. He was making a lot of money now. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, what are you trading? Yeah. And he was like, cryptocurrency. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I never thought about it then. And then I went and did something else, and he just popped into my mind. And I was like, wait, do you want to like tell me a bit more about this? Because I remembered that I dabbled in Bitcoin before. Yeah. So I was kind of like, let's find out more, kind of what he's up to. In the meantime, I remembered about this website that I told you about in school, and I've lost all my passwords for that. So there could be any amount of Bitcoin gathering in that. That's lost forever. That's
soul destroying.
Yeah. But I have no idea how much is in it.
But sure, did you hear that story about the landfill in Wales,
No.
There's a guy in 2011, and he had 150 or something Bitcoin on a server at home, and his mother cleared out his room and threw it away, and it's lost in a landfill. And apparently there's...
Oh, no.
Yeah,
This was a guy that stored his password in the fishing rod. So what he did was he had tons of Bitcoin and he put it on what's called a ledger, a cold wallet. Now, this is like a little memory stick.
Yeah.
And you put your Bitcoin onto it, you take it out, it's on this stick.
Yeah, and nobody can get it.
No one can get it. Now, people can steal it,
Yeah.
but they need your password.
Yeah, again.
You have a 24-word password,
encrypted,
right?
Yeah.
To get this out. So this would have been millions on this little memory stick.
Could you imagine? Imagine it?
I can't remember what happened. He basically when you're setting it up, they give you 24 keywords to remember in case you lose the thing. You can get it all back. But he wrote down these words on a piece of paper and stuffed them in a fishing rod, and then the fishing rod was thrown out. I don't know why I didn't put it elsewhere.
There is no words for it.
But in saying that, he probably does have it elsewhere.
Oh,
if he's smart enough to do that, he's definitely... Because if he just makes up that this was thrown out and he's lost it forever, he can't be taxed on it, or he's not being chased on it or whatever. So it was probably done... He was probably said that on purpose. There's just no way you would be smart enough to hide your money that way and then write it on one piece of paper.
So, tell me, right, from a complete and utter novice, why is Bitcoin important? To you, not to try and sell it to me. Now, if I was to wake up in the morning and I said, you know what, I have a bit of an interest in Bitcoin, a few extra pounds, I don't.
You could.
I could. I want to invest in it. Why is it important in relation to investing? What's the difference between it and traditional currency? Why is it important?
So traditional currency is called, well, not traditional, but the currency we use today is called fiat currency. And that is basically government-owned money, government-produced money. It's not backed by anything. It used to be backed by gold, and then they abolished the gold standard. So basically what the government do is they control the economy and they control the money flow, and they just print it. And it's nothing, it's backed by by the government's word. So your money is essentially just losing value all the time. And what happens when governments don't manage the economy properly as well is that they will just print more money and they'll deflate your money and it'll lose value. Now, I think it's important just the way humans are going that money should go digital anyways. For efficiency and speed and many other reasons, just for ease. It makes no sense the world having several different currencies. I think it's kind of just natural for society to evolve to get to a point where we all have one world currency. That's digital, and I can send it to my friend in Bangkok tomorrow if I want. Bitcoin isn't necessarily the answer to that, but it's kind of the first step. And again, the big important element is that it's decentralized. No one can take that from you. Obviously, when you earn your money and you work all your life and you earn your money, it goes into the bank and it's the bank's money. It's not yours at all. Now, you do get guarantees with holding your money in the bank, but I don't think many banks right now actually give you interest anymore. So you don't really gain anything from it. The banks just profit. And, you've seen it in countries before. I think it was Cyprus that just declared they just took everyone's money. Now, there was more to it than that, but, they can put holds on people taking out their money if the economy's tanking. Venezuela had a very big financial...
That is true because every bank only has 10% of a cash reserve at any one time. It's important. So from your point of view, it's important because it's decentralized. So can you explain to us how do you mean by that? Where is the money? How do I get the money? It's decentralized. What
for Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Well, it's yours. It's cryptography. I mean, money is, in a nutshell, something that we give value to. Money has had many different forms over the years.
Starting with barter, which means trading.
Money used to be seashells. It's evolved from basically, seashells to gold and to properties that actually have value.
Yes.
So a lot of arguments used against Bitcoin is that it's nothing, it's not tangible. But, we have in the past, given value to things that were less tangible.
Yeah.
So I think money is essentially what we decide to give value to.
Yeah.
And, Bitcoin has its place in the world. So, if you want to buy Bitcoin, you go to these things called exchanges, and they'll basically buy and sell it, and then there'll be a market for it. And I think the market cap is several billion right now, and it's coming shortly behind gold.
Really?
So yeah, I mean, it's not coming shortly behind gold at the minute, but I think it will get to a place where it exceeds gold.
Yeah.
And so this is why it's kind of uncertain at the minute. It looks more likely that Bitcoin in the future will probably be used as a store of value or a reserve, and then our basically our digital currency will probably be something like a second layer solution to Bitcoin, or it'll be Ethereum.
So Ethereum, my understanding of Ethereum is that
I don't know Ethereum that well.
Yeah, my understanding of it is it's the software. So
yeah, it's the technology.
It's the oil that makes the car move. A very bland, very basic understanding. To me, Ethereum is the oil that makes the car move.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know anything about that. So to me, right, so you're telling me it's decentralized, Bitcoin is decentralized.
Bitcoin is, yeah.
So I get my money, however much it's worth, we'll say, just for really simple cases, I get my €2. Bitcoin is worth €2. Mm-hmm. Where do I go with it? Can I go to a bank or?
Wait, your money's in normal currency?
Yeah.
It's in euros?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to buy Bitcoin, you need to join an exchange.
Right.
Coinbase is the most known one. You can either make a bank transfer, or you can kind of use your card to pay for it.
Yeah.
And you just buy it, and it'll be held. Anytime you join an exchange, they'll supply a wallet.
Right.
So you'll basically buy it, and the coins will go into that wallet, and then you're free to move that money wherever you want. So yeah, it just as easily as you buy it, you can sell it there as well. And
when it's decentralized, does that mean? Obviously, it's not in one physical country or one physical structure.
Yeah.
I assume, my understanding now is that it bounces from server to server. Would that be correct?
Server to server?
Yeah, so Bitcoin, obviously, it's a digital currency, and it's not held on servers, but you use servers and the internet to transfer and whatnot.
It's a blockchain. It's ledgers.
Yeah, exactly.
So the blockchain's quite complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it fully, but it's like a series of ledgers. And every transaction has to be verified by multiple people. So that's why Bitcoin is great. It's like one big kind of community money system, and no one can control it. No one can, steal. Well, people can steal it, but I mean that's only risk. If someone steals your Bitcoin, there's no getting it back. Like, it's gone.
Now, how would they steal it?
They can hack exchanges, or they can hack your laptop and get your passwords and stuff. But it's kind of like any money. You just need to be careful with it. And
do you think, I think I discussed this with you. Obviously, you feel that Bitcoin is very important, but it's the way forward, you would say.
Yeah.
If you were up in the morning to make a pitch for Bitcoin for the biggest economies in the world to take it over, to go from their own currency, how would you pitch that?
Oh, that's a very heavy question. Jesus Christ.
I don't do easy around here.
Yeah, you're grilling me here, Jesus. No, I mean that's
no, because I understand it, and I do understand Bitcoin. I've read a certain amount, but I wouldn't be as knowledgeable as you are on it. However,
no, this isn't going to be in the near future.
Yeah, no, this is key.
That's what people need to remember. There's a lot of buzz around it right now because of its money making properties. Yeah. It's a good way to make a lot of money. And that is the reason why I got into Bitcoin, was to make money. It's going to be a long time until whatever digital currency kind of happens. There's going to be a lot of resistance from governments and a lot of different political agendas that will kind of probably halt that big shift happening. That big shift is happening for most other things. The widely available information of the internet is everywhere. So it's going to take a while before we get there. I essentially, had a conversation with this guy, and I saw there was a lot of money to be made in it. My reasons were kind of quite skewed. I used to have a corporate job. I really didn't like it. I was looking at every single avenue I could to get out of that. And you become really resourceful when you hate something and you want to make a change. So you start looking everywhere else, and that's what I did.
Do you feel you romanticize Bitcoin because of that, or are you purely numbers and analysis focused?
You go through different stages. When you get into Bitcoin, I believe. I think you start with Bitcoin by it's going to make me rich.
Yeah.
And then you learn more and more about it, and then you start really believing in the fundamentals, and then you start seeing it as a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And it's still early days for anyone that wants to buy Bitcoin. It seems like you've missed out, but it's early days. They're saying that Bitcoin is going to go to kind of several 100,000 by a year or two. Those are the predictions.
I see Bloomberg are reporting on it now in the Financial Times. Now, the UK SEC, I think, said that investors need to be prepared to lose all their money, but I suppose that is with any investing. Back to just thinking there, in relation to the government thing, I understand what you're saying by the world not having just one singular currency.
Yeah.
But just from my point of view, I don't think that we will ever have one world currency, because if you look, if you look at the UK when they joined the European Union, they kept sterling because they were such a powerful economy. I do think unless there's serious advantages to be made, I can't see governments changing. Could you?
I mean, I think they will eventually.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, we're eventually going to get there.
Yeah.
I think that's very inevitable.
But in saying that, then, does that mean all the foreign exchange trading just stops?
Yeah, I would presume so. I think the future is more about ease and convenience. Yeah, and that's the way it's going, and that's the way it's going with everything. It's a one for all system. Yeah. Your Amazons and your Netflix of the world. It's just the way the internet is revolutionizing the world, and it's the way technology is revolutionizing the world.
See,
and I think it's very inevitable that our currency is going to go digital. It makes no sense for us to be carrying all this paper and metal everywhere. It's not convenient, and it's not the way the world is going. It's going to be. We were already seeing it actually. We got them down to cards. We tapped our cards. Now we're tapping our phones. Yeah, it's the way it's going. Some Samsungs even have wallets on them. Yeah, and you can tap and pay your crypto already. Like, that's the way it's going.
The one thing I would say is that I understand it in the ease and the convenience of it and whatnot. However, I can't see, because everything at the end of the day, most things come down to money. Yeah, and I can't see them wiping out a whole foreign exchange trading, because there's so much money to be made there.
Oh, absolutely. But you could make that argument with most things that have went to a subscription based service or kind of a one for all system. Yeah. There's always been an avenue for things that just get outdated, and I think just physical money is just going to get outdated. Yeah. And it's just the kind of it's just to do with how fast society and technology is progressing. So I mean, I don't know much about like foreign currency or anything like that, but in my opinion, it's inevitable.
It's a dead trade, like, as one would say.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of people that are trading in and getting in, as you said, the retail traders, do you think they know a lot, or they see this? You could almost,
no, it's a quick buck.
You could almost say it's brought on by the likes of Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. You have this instantaneous gratification, and now that there's a digital currency, people are like, oh, they're looking at it and saying, I can make this much money. It's an instant thing. Do you think that's
well, what happened was the last, what we call bull run is when say a stock or a currency is overbought and the price excels. What happened with the last bull run was caused by retail buyers.
Yeah.
So a lot of hype coming around Bitcoin. And I'm not sure exactly what caused that hype, but
Retail traders would also be known as Robin Hood traders.
Yeah, exactly. But something sparked it, and it snowballed.
Yeah.
And then everyone bought it. The price went up. It hit all-time highs. The difference is this time around is that the all-time highs and the price rise is being caused by institutional buyers.
Yeah.
Which means several, hundreds, if not thousands, large multinational companies are basically investing kind of 1% or less of their company in Bitcoin as a money reserve.
Yeah.
So while it's 1% of these companies or even less of whole economies, that amount is still staggering and significant and will cause the price to drive up significantly. So this time around is definitely being caused by institutional buyers. But what happens when institutional buyers buy and the price goes up is then all the retail buyers get invested as well, and it snowballs. And there's a really good model called the stock to flow ratio, and this is basically there's a guy, a kind of an online guru called Plan B, and he's basically predicted just due to Bitcoin demand and ratio, just where exactly it's going to go. And so far it's going right along that path, and the jump gets bigger every time because as you increase by percentages, 1,000 can turn to 20,000, but that same percentage will take that 20,000 then up to the 40 plus 100, several hundred. Bitcoin will probably eventually go to 1 million, but within the next year or two we're definitely very likely to see a couple 100,000. So it's definitely not too late to buy it, but people that are new to the space will have short-term thinking when it comes to buying Bitcoin. So as I said earlier, when I was doing my job years ago, and I was learning about this every day, I had my job at Facebook, and hated my life, and I went home and I was like, right, well, how can I make money outside of that? And I started trying to learn how to trade. Because my friend had put it in the idea in my head. And
shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie. Eddie changed my life. He did. He actually did.
Not Tony Robbins.
But he definitely changed my life. And I basically, when I left that job and I had thousands in the bank,
just flexing on us again.
I had already studied Bitcoin for 2 years, and I was like, I know exactly where I want this money to go. Yeah. And I bought as much of it as I could afford to do at the time. And I bought it at a really tender stage when it went from 5 to 14. So that's 5 times what I put in. Yeah. Which is quite a lot. 3 times what I put in. 3 times. I was
just about to jump in. That's quick maths, bruv.
Yeah. So it no way made me rich, but it was the most money I'd had in a long time.
It gave you a tangible view of what could be possible.
Yeah, exactly. And then it also gave me the breathing space to kind of sit back and say, right, I've made a year or two salary here. I can, actually just hold on to that because I believe in the long term it's going to go higher. And then while I'm just holding on to that, I can start, doing my social medias and, my other goals. Yeah. But in the meantime, I've tried. I'm what you call a hodler, which means you buy the Bitcoin and you just hold on to it, which means you don't.
Hodler sounds like a weird type of run.
Yeah, well, it's weird because hodl basically comes from the Bitcoin community and it means hold. And it was basically someone telling people to hold on to their Bitcoins, but he spelt it wrong. He spelt it hodl. So then hodl became the kind of the meme or the name to hold Bitcoin and hold it and don't let it go, because any Bitcoin that you get and you sell is just going to become someone else's, and you're just going to reap the benefits of when it does eventually go into the hundreds of thousands. And if I'm putting it on the table, my goal is to hold on to this.
Just about to ask you, what are your goals?
My
for
goal
Bitcoin?
is to hold on to this until it's worth millions.
Yeah.
And it can be if it's going the way it has been going. Everything is lining up right now for it to get into that value. Now, it doesn't need to go to $1 million for me to be a millionaire, but if it gets into several hundred thousands, then it will.
We're going on a short holiday, like.
Yeah, and that's what's really exciting about it. So
like I'm packing the tanning on. You're doing my back, like.
Yeah, I'll fucking do your back, man. I'm a millionaire, you know. But
so yeah, that's your long-term goal with Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I trade it a wee bit as well, which means, you know, because it's so volatile, Bitcoin moves up and down, and basically any asset that hasn't basically found its value or its place in the world, it's undecided, and Bitcoin is definitely there. Any asset that is in that place will be volatile, and gold used to be like that before gold became this hard, you know,
precious metal.
This hard asset, which is basically a safe store of value. If you put your money in gold and the economy crashes, you're pretty much, your money's pretty much good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's because it's a precious metal, and Bitcoin has been modeled after gold. There's only a limited amount in the world. They have to be mined, and once they're all mined, that's it. That's all that's there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I should have explained that's another reason why it's so important, is because it's a finite resource, just like gold, and it's modeled after gold. They call it the digital gold.
Yeah.
Except, you know, gold, you have to have someone store it for you, have it shipped, pay for all that. There's risk involved, there's fees involved. It's got loads of value. I could send $1 billion worth in Bitcoins to you in minutes and pay very little to do that. And that is the big difference between them both, and that's why it's so important. I forget the point I was making.
You were saying that gold is a proper asset, whereas
sorry. Yeah, I was saying that's why Bitcoin is so volatile at the minute, because and gold used to be like that. So while everyone gets their heads around Bitcoin and society gets its head around Bitcoin, it's going to be manipulated by, you know, all these different factors, you know, people being interested, you know, hype, FOMO, what we call whales, which means people that buy up millions and then they dump the market because
a bit of a
they
saucy
have
pump
so
and
much
dump.
influence over it. Yeah, pump and a dump. And then retail buyers, and, you know, many factors until it's really found its place in the world. Bitcoin is always going to be volatile, and it's high now. It's going to drop again. It's going to be low. But I just hope this time around people, you know, don't miss their opportunity to buy it as much as possible.
The one thing I will say, a lot of people, just from my observations, you know, they want to get in and they want to make a quick buck. Never invest anything that you can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people miss that. I think people, you know, see, look, it's making this much money, it's going to make me a fortune, and then they lump all their life savings that they don't have, and they lose it.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that you should only be investing what you can afford to lose.
I'm talking to a lot of people now that are putting, you know, a lot of money into it, a lot of money they don't have, a lot of money they've saved for big rainy day money, and they're putting it onto Bitcoin for a quick return. And it's really, really scary thing to advise against, because it can do anything. It really can. Like, and while I believe in it, right now it's volatile and it can do anything.
Of course you believe in it. It's your money, but you don't want to be responsible for someone else's money. I think it's somewhat easier to make informed decisions when it's your own. Yeah. But advising someone else.
Exactly. And I never want to be responsible for someone losing thousands of,
basically,
you know,
just ending up on the street for whatnot.
Yeah. So, you know, again, if anyone's thinking about getting into it, you know, make sure it's money that you're prepared to not look at for a long time. Now, it's not gonna, if you buy it, at whatever price it is now, and it goes down, you're not going to lose all your money. You simply hold on to it until it exceeds the value that you bought it at, and eventually you'll get in profit again. But people that don't know the asset well enough get very scared that it's going to go to zero, and they start selling it, and then they sell at a loss, and then they lose money, which is the wrong thing to do. So my strategy, as I said, hodl. And hodl for the future. It's, you know, your investments should be long term. In reality, there's no kind of quick solution for money. You know, if there was, everyone would be doing it.
This is true.
So it's a long term game. You can trade it, but again, it's volatile and you can get wrecked. And it's happened to me before.
Yeah.
I used to trade Bitcoin before I decided to hodl it, which meant I tried it. If it was increasing in price, I would long it. If it was dropping, I would short it.
Yeah.
And I was winning at that for so long, and I still do it every now and then. But I only do it as kind of a bit of fun. Like little thrill. Yeah, like I have
brighten up the day, like
a certain amount of Bitcoin in one account that I'm just like, right, I'm prepared to lose that. Yeah. That's kind of just there for playing with.
Yeah. You were saying that you have a certain amount to play with, like everyone does. Like the casual person maybe throws it on a pair of new clothes, or maybe a fancy lotto ticket or something like that. Yeah. So
no, that's it. Yeah.
It's disposable. To you, it's disposable income.
Yeah, but I'm telling most people to, like, if they want to get into it, see it as a long-term thing. Yeah. Buy it and hold it, and be prepared to not think about it for another 2 years. So that's kind of my 2 cents on Bitcoin.
It's interesting.
I don't know if I explained it well enough, but
no, it's an interesting prospect. I do like. I would be like everyone else. I would have a lot of doubts. I understand it insofar as that it is convenient. It's a very interesting prospect, but I struggle with the part of how it's going to outdo currency.
Yeah.
Because if it's modelled on gold, most currency is modelled on gold.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's a good thing to model.
They're a form
to model money on.
Yeah. So if
Bitcoin
is
a finite resource.
If Bitcoin is modelled on gold, then money is based on gold. So essentially, like, for the want of it, $1 is worth so much in gold, right?
Yeah.
$1 will get you an X amount of gold. So if you're doing that, and Bitcoin is modelled after that, will all currencies not still exist? The point I'm trying to make is, what happens if you get rid of all the currencies and you just have Bitcoin? What's the value of a Bitcoin then? Do you know what I mean?
The value would be astronomical.
But how would a Bitcoin be valued if it was valued against no currency?
It would be valued based on the demand and how many people own it.
Yes.
If Bitcoin was distributed among everyone in the world,
right?
Bitcoin can be divided.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, up to fucking, let's say 10,000 plus. A Bitcoin can be fractured up. You don't just have a coin and then you've got one or two. A Bitcoin goes down to many decimal places. You could
say Bitcoin is like a €500 note. It can be broken down. For, like, just to simplify it, like,
it would be more like having a $10,000 note.
Yeah, no, you get. Yeah, but
yeah.
So, like, a Bitcoin can be broken down. See, I'm only playing devil's advocate here, as one would say. Like, if
I don't actually have all my full up facts.
No,
I know
Bitcoin that. No, I know that. But see,
I just can't remember all
of
it. But
that's just the part that I like from an outsider looking. That's the part I would struggle with, because I understand that it is convenience and whatnot. But if you were to get rid of every other currency, how would you value it against something else? Like, obviously a Bitcoin can be broken up, but one Bitcoin, would that be one bitty? Do you know what I mean?
It's called a Satoshi.
Ah, right.
And a Satoshi is a fraction of a coin.
Right,
so the coin can be broken up into, like, the Bitcoin I have in my trading account is like 0.9 or something like that. And you can go all the way to like 0.0000000000.
Yeah.
And then, but that 0.00000002 will be worth whatever the market values it at.
Yeah.
So if the whole world was using it, that would be more.
Yes.
If the value keeps going up, and it's all relative. Like, if the value keeps going up, the Bitcoin I have will be worth like a huge amount if it does gain huge popularity and usability and adoption.
Yeah.
From companies and governments alike.
Yeah.
Obviously not governments, but
it would be if
it's
going to be adopted. Yeah.
I can't say for sure where it's going, but I'm invested in it.
And you have some serious plans for it. It excites you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like, I would never knock anything, because I don't try it, but it's a very interesting concept. Again, from the efficiency point of view and everything else that's happening in the world, that it's just the ease of access. I just think that not anytime soon.
No. But we've harped on quite a bit about Bitcoin already. I appreciate you guys listening, and for Gordon to challenge me on it. Again, I'm not an expert on Bitcoin.
He doesn't claim to be an expert, but I do like to flesh out these ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
If someone, it's the same way with I have my ideas. He comes for me as well as devil's avocado.
Yeah, well, no, it's fair that if someone's preaching about something that they should be able to back up what they're saying. So that's totally fair. But a lot of you guys were asking for Bitcoin, so we're happy to even just open up the discussion about it. And thanks
we're always happy to open we're happy to open a discussion about anything here.
Yeah,
we're very open and whatnot. Do you have anything else you want to discuss as we're nearing the end?
I think that's it, man. We're kind of racking up the time here, and I don't want to leave it too long on everyone. But again, if there's anything else you want us to touch upon, let us know next time. We'll be doing more exclusive content for the patrons as well.
I will probably be in this one.
Yeah, you will be. More bonus episodes to come and the likes. And give us some feedback below. Negative or positive, let us know in the comments.
I'd just like to take a moment there to acknowledge everyone who subscribed, liked and commented on the first episode, who reached out, who shared it. I honestly can't thank you enough. It means a lot to Travis and I. We enjoy doing the longer form content. It's interesting. This was a very insightful look at Travis's project, which I would say he has a keen interest in it.
Slightly.
But we'll continue to look behind the curtain, as one would say. I feel this is a look behind the curtain, because everyone looks at your social media and it's like, oh, that's the funny guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get asked all the time on social media like what I do and how I earn my money and stuff, and that's as close as you'll get to knowing how I earn my living at the minute, and then what my kind of plans are financially. So if people are interested in that, then that's there, and that's kind of what we want to talk about on this podcast. Is I want to give you guys a look behind the curtain and an insight to what like Gordon really thinks. Because what you're really seeing on TikTok is 15-second clips of us.
Yeah, it's quite funny, because a lot of people say that to me. Even when they're talking to me, they're like, "Oh, you don't come across like that on the internet."
Yeah. No, thank you guys again. Please give us a feedback below, and again, if you're interested in contributing towards the podcast as well, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/g&tpod. I'll link everything below, and anyone that contributes is greatly appreciated, and thank you to everyone that's contributed so far. There will be extras for you guys as well, so thanks again, and
also
love yous all.
Also, it's going to be on Spotify for anyone that's been asking.
It is.
It's just Travis has to do it, because I am in no way talented. Editing or not, I'm just like, point the camera and the microphone at me. We'll get to that. But thanks again, and we shall talk to you the same time next week.
It's all G, baby. Thanks, guys.